This information, God want to go to the this man. I will bring it here for you. And gentlemen, special to you, European NATO. This information most important to go to NATO to know that NATO shift. This is the 75, 7.5 to the 8.7 you are facing. This information this month he want to go to the your government in Canada immediately very soon to remember to know that the Space God released in attack to you Canadian Security Service, your government in Ottawa to 7 dimension according to the Space God side by 8.7 to tsunami God released into bring to your country. I bring it here evidence.
Time. Tsunami watches going out west coast, BC, as well Hawaiian Islands.
So to tsunami watching they go in the BC to the other province which is your capital city, and this man here he want many country to receive that. God want to release the third word to you Canadian Security Service RCMP to your government for the crime what you did cause behind my value, behind my future in your city, BC Vancouver, to other city which is Nova Scotia or Ottawa was the first country, first province they did this crime. So this information God want to go to many part to know that you are facing 7 threat dimension. The Canada team, your Canadian Security Service, under my investigation for lawsuit, God want for 700,000 Terrelon. Final message of God, 700,000 Terrelon he want from your government for 7.8 tsunami, which is coming. According to the God, he want this information going to YouTube. Many people receive that. Your department, Canadian Security Service, is under my investigation by God's side for bringing your capital city, Ottawa, on the 8.7 earthquake, which is plan was a 7.7 earthquake. I understand force of space bringing 8.7 earthquake to your government, to bringing this investigation to your department about my case in Canada, what multicultural you have, they did behind my future. This information going to many part YouTube to know receive that you are under investigation, your government is under investigation for lawsuit by this man, lawsuit against your country. God wants to bring this lawsuit against your country for 7 dimension, 7 tsunami coming to your country. And this already has been sent by some people in the video YouTube.
Standard time. Tsunami watches going out west coast, BC, as well Hawaiian Islands, and Pacific Ocean, local areas of Vanuatu.
And this information going to many part to receive that God will release the tsunami ice storm to your country for 700,000 Terrelon, because I did not receive money, Canadian Security Service, and your RCMP money for crime you did cause behind my future by multicultural or your police or your department. So this coming on the news, according to God, to bring in your country on my investigation, who was behind this case and causing all this crime, which is the God releasing a snowstorm first, according to the God, but after this snowstorm in 1 week,
nearly 100 million people in Canada and the US brace for some of the coldest air.
And this information going to the YouTube to all people receive that you are going to in 1 week, according to God, according to this man. In 1 week, or maximum God push it back in the 10 days, 2 weeks, your capital city government, all building coming on the news, under my investigation for this crime. God want to investigation to your government and your country to bring in your government on the international courts by 8.7 earthquake to your parliament building, according to this man. He won lawsuit against your Canadian Security Service RCMP for 700,000 Terrelon he want from your government, because one way or other way, tsunami coming or your government coming to pay directly, according to God, to me, to I stop my investigation to not 7 tsunami coming to your country, which is the 8.7 earthquake is coming, according to God, to your capital city, Ottawa, Quebec, Montreal, on the ice storm, but tsunami happened after ice storm. After this ice storm, God released into tsunami, which is 8.7 earthquake. My duty to God want to send 9.3 earthquakes after 8.7 earthquake because God forcing to you step down Canada Team Canadian Security Service RCMP and come directly. I get paid from your department and we separate between us. God want this information going to the many country to receive that. Government of Canada is under criminal investigation about my case in Canada, what they did, and I am in the BC Vancouver, which is the government of Canada, being responsible for the city I am, and bringing basically these two departments on the breaking world news before God bringing this tsunami, which is ice storm coming and tsunami coming after that very soon. This information going to many parts to receive that. You are under investigation, Canadian Security RCMP, for end of your government, Canada, coming on the broken news by tsunami. After this is ice storm coming, which is the coming costing blackouts in your country. And God want this information going to many parts. They can receive that. Your government coming on the breaking news on the investigation by 7 dimensions to tsunami to your country coming to completely God want freezing your government under this investigation to bring in your country on the news world and my information coming on the news why your country they ask has been destroyed. Your capital city Ottawa, all your building got told he will destroy. This man told here. He told all your building I will destroy it. Your capital city, Canadian Security Service. You are under deadly investigation, Canadian Security Service, and your RCMP for this crime you did cause behind my future, and you're trying to basically interrupt other people to not get money or moving forward. So this is the second crime, which is a serious crime to God eyes you did, Canadian Security Service, and your special RCMP building, what you did cause behind me. As well, you know that, I know that. So your government, Canada, coming under this investigation according to God, and your parliament building, according to this man, they will destroy your parliament building. I believe in your parliament building not only be destroyed, but all the building your government, God told he will crash down and destroy halt in the system of your capital city, all the building coming crack down and fall as happening in the Japan earthquakes.